Thank you. Well, my name is Scott Pepper, and for the last 30 years, I have been a professional magician. So today I'm here to talk to you about some of the cool lessons I learned and some of the stories from a career in entertainment. But firstly, I feel like I must address the elephant in the room. You can probably tell from my accent, I am not from around here. Yeah. The more traveled among you may have already guessed that I am indeed from Austin. Oh, some skeptics in the room as well. Huh? No, actually, I'm all the way from the United Kingdom, and that's where my story begins. I started magic, I performed my first show at 10 years old in front of a live audience, but it was 4 years before that, my mum and dad took me to my first live magic show. The magician brought me up on stage and showed me something so incredible it would change my life forever. Would you like to see it? Yeah. Okay. Here it is. Some of you do not seem impressed, I know. But it wasn't the balloon itself, it's what he did with the balloon. And I'm not sure if you can see this, but inside there is another balloon. A balloon inside a balloon. Now, I still can sense some of you are not that impressed, but at 6 years old, this blew my tiny little mind. It really did. And he gave it to me and he said, put it somewhere safe, somewhere you're gonna see it every single day. And every time you look at it, it will remind you that something seemingly impossible could actually be done. And that stuck with me forever and kind of changed my whole career. So, I wasn't a big fan of school, I'll be honest with you. In England, you can leave school at 16 once you've done your GCSEs or high school diploma, and that's what I did. I got straight into entertainments at 17, and by 18 years old, I was an entertainments manager in a hotel in Cyprus in the Mediterranean. I did that for a few years before heading back to the UK, and then I started touring the UK with my own magic show. And then a big step up happened for me in my career. I started working on cruise ships, and the great thing about that was you would be able to perform for thousands of people at a time and could perform all around the world. There was one downside, though. I was performing for a lot of cruise ships where it was just adults only. And I was a very kind of family-friendly entertainer. So I started looking for family-friendly cruise ships. And this is when I found out about Disney Cruise Line. And Disney had always had a big place in my heart. My mum and dad used to save up every 2 or 3 years and take us to Disney World. And so much so that I used to think, actually, the whole of America was just like Orlando. So when I got here, I was kind of disappointed. But that's when I found out about Disney Cruise Line. And I knew that if I always wanted to work for Disney. So this seemed like a great fit. So I found out how I could do that. And there was one big problem. They would not fly me from the UK to the US to work on one of their ships. It was just too much for them. They'd use US-based acts. So now I had the information I needed. I did the only thing I could have done, and that was packed up my apartment, sold my vehicle, and bought a one-way ticket to Orlando, Florida. And I would have 90 days before my visa ran out. So I'd have 90 days to figure out what I want to do before I head back. So I rented a room in some guy's his house. I bought an inflatable mattress. I got a pay-as-you-go cell phone from Walmart, and I got to work. Like, Disney, here I come, right? And then, well, after 8 weeks, I had nothing yet, and only a few weeks left, so I had to step it up a little bit. I had emailed everyone in the Disney company, so much so that I went back over the emails, and I'd accidentally emailed Bob Iger, the CEO, to see if he would get me on Disney Cruise Line. Funny enough, he did not return my email. Every time I called, I could never get in touch with the right person, so like I said, I had to step it up. So, this is what I did. I went to Best Buy, and I bought, it was a Motorola Zoom, or most people would have an iPad nowadays, but this was a long time ago. And I put my 2-minute promotional video onto that tablet. And I Googled the Disney Cruise Line head office. And it was only about 25 miles from where I was staying. So I put on a shirt, I got in the car, drove down to Disney Cruise Line. And I remember walking in and Mickey Mouse was all over the walls. I got so excited. But I couldn't get past the receptionist. She would not let me pass. So I put on a little bit of the British charm, and I let them know that flew all the way from the UK just to show one person a 2-minute video, which was true. She just didn't know I'd been out there for 2 months. So eventually she said yes, and I was going up in the elevator to meet the head of Disney Cruise Line. I finally got to meet them, show them my 2-minute video, and 3 weeks later, I got my first booking on board the Disney Wonder cruise ship. Yeah, thank you. It was a lot of fun. So, yeah, I remember coming off stage from that first show, actually, and the cruise director gave me the thumbs up, and that was like all I needed. It was like my whole career had led to this moment. So I guess what is the lesson from this? Because I ended up performing for Disney for about 7.5 years after that. But the lesson is I was definitely not the best magician at the time trying to get on Disney Cruise Line. There were so many people that could have done that job. But I figured out what I needed, and I went the extra mile to go and get that gig. And it cost me 3 months of work and a lot of risks. And I guess other magicians thought they either couldn't do it or they weren't allowed to do that. But I took the extra step to try and do that. So if there is something you want to achieve, something you are 100% set on, find out what you need to do, and then make sure you do more than you need to do to get that ahead of everyone else. But let me give you a real life experience, something we can do right now. And hopefully, I know we've got long here. If you've got any cash in your pocket, get it out now. I need a $1 bill. If anyone's got a cash, I know this is kind of a cashless society, but has anyone got a one? No? Well, good to be you. Okay, I'll take 100 if you got it. I don't mind. Hello, what is your name? Alma? Alma, this is going to cost you $1, okay? But I'm going to teach you how to make your money worth more. Sound good? Okay, and you guys can join in with this if you have a dollar. It's very simple. You fold it once, you fold it twice, you fold it 3 times, you fold it 4 times, and you squeeze. Now, Alma, I said I would make your dollar bill worth more, and check it out. When I open this up, you will find it increases. Increases. I didn't say it'd be any good, all right? This is lesson number 2, is something sounds too good to be true. It probably is, Alma. I'm sorry. But I get to keep that dollar, and that's going to be going to my Christmas 2024 tip bag. I'm starting early, okay? But like I guess I got that balloon as a reminder of everything that happened to me, I feel like I should give you a reminder of what happened here today so someone doesn't try this again with you. So let's give you a receipt, I guess, of your dollar bill. Let's give it, I don't know, maybe a corner of that. That would do. I'm sorry, would you just hold on to the corner for me? And then we'll just take that last piece off because I don't want to touch that because that is illegal. Oh. Would you give it to Alma for me? That's her change. There we go. Alma, there's a little receipt for you so you never forget what happened here. Let's hear a nice round of applause for Alma for helping me out there. And actually, let's put this up here so you guys can see this. Now, I performed for Disney for about 7 years. My next challenge was a big one. I got to know a lot of people while I was here in the States. I even started dating people in America, and I really wanted to live here. And this is something my family wanted since I was a kid. Actually, my brother is a US citizen, and I had to figure out a way that I could live and work here legally, of course. So I had a friend who was a juggler on the ship, and he put me in touch with an immigration lawyer, and then she sent me the details I would need. And I would need something called an O1 visa, which is also known as the Alien of Extraordinary Ability visa, which sounds a lot cooler than it is, I promise you, but it was kind of cool coming into customs and telling them that. But no, to get this visa, there was a lot of things I would have to do, and it was actually a whole list of things. I would have to excel in my field as a magician. I'd have to get booked to headline magic conventions. I'd have to get publicized in magic magazines. I'd have to make magic props for other magicians. I'd have to get on TV, all of these things. This list was pages and pages long. It was so overwhelming that I nearly didn't even start it. It was so crazy. So I actually learned 2 big lessons from this one. And number 1 is probably a quote you guys have heard from Martin Luther King. You don't have to see this whole staircase, just take the first step. And I know this is kind of obvious, but when you look at something with so many tasks there, it can be very intimidating and you may not even get started. So I decided just to start on one of them, just the first one, which was get booked for a magic convention. And I had no idea how I was going to do that. I had no contacts or anything like that. And this is kind of the next lesson I learned, was to ask for help. And it baffles me how many people I know in business and even in general life that don't ask friends, family, or anyone for help. Because when I tried this, I reached out to any magician I could get hold of, any emails I had, anyone that knew someone that knew someone, and 9 out of 10 of them would email back or give me a call, and they would help me as much as they can. And you know what? I think they really wanted to as well. I know when people have reached out to me in the past for help, I feel honored when they ask me, and I'm always willing to help them back. So I started getting a lot of contacts. I started getting booked on these magic conventions. Problem was, they were costing me more than I was making, so I was losing money all around on these things, but I had to look at the big picture. I had to get these boxes ticked off. Oh, one of them, by the way, was break a world record, which, as you can imagine, is kind of difficult. So I put in for most magic tricks while skydiving. A real thing, I promise you. And they said I wasn't allowed to do it. So I had to scrub that one, unfortunately. But you can look on YouTube, put Scott Pepper skydive magic, and you can see my attempt at it anyway. It's kind of fun. So, but I started getting everything. And actually, this was one of the best parts of my career because I was having to push myself out my comfort zone to meet all these people and contact these people I never thought I would. I ended up getting some of the best gigs and meeting some of the best people in my life. I met magicians that have been heroes of mine since I was a kid. I got to perform at the Magic Castle in Hollywood, California. If you're not familiar with that place, look it up. It's fantastic. I got to perform on the CW Network's Masters of Illusion TV show. And this was all thanks to just pushing myself and getting out there and meeting all these different people and asking everyone I met for help. So I'm happy to say it took about 5 years, but on January 15th, 2015, I disembarked the Disney Dream cruise ship, flew to Canada, and I picked up my O1 visa. And since then, I've been privileged enough to renew it 3 times. So I've been here nearly 10 years. I'm even happier to tell you that this year I got married and just applied for my green card. So I'm that much closer to being a citizen of this wonderful country. So it's, yeah, very excited. So, and for the last 6 years, like Brendan said, I've run my own magic theater here in San Antonio. It's been a lot of fun. So from being 6 years old and showing a simple balloon to about 35 years later, being able to live out my dreams as a magician in the US. Whatever it is you want to achieve, it may not be as impossible as you think. Ask for help, break it down into small chunks, and go that extra mile to fulfill your goals. When that magician gave me that balloon 6 years ago, it gave me the feeling that nothing was impossible. So it's only fair that I leave you guys with that same feeling today. Alma, let's do this. Where did you get that dollar bill from? Was it your purse? Okay, check this out. Watch. Alma, open your purse. There should be, right there on top, there should be a dollar bill missing a corner, Alma. Is it there? Yeah, no, they're right there. Yeah. Just on top there should be a dollar bill missing a corner. Is it there? No? That would have been cool though, right? Yeah. I mean, I would have been impressed with that. Come on. No, actually, Alma, this is where our two stories come together. I got a safety pin here, and actually, Brent, would you place the dog inside the Ziploc bag for me? Now, remember that little ball inside the stomach? That meant something a little bit more. Check it out. There's something inside that ball, Alma. Wow. If I reach, actually, Brent, would you reach in there? I do not want to touch that. Would you open it up? Yeah. There should be something very special about that dollar bill. Oh. It shouldn't be a full dollar bill. Now that corner is missing, but not only does that corner have to match, Alma, that serial number has to match as well. Otherwise, that would not be a match. Is that the matching piece? The matching piece. Wow. There you go. This is my first time doing this talk in front of a live audience. I really appreciate your time. Thank you very much for listening. My name is Scott Peck. Thank you.